Cape Cod is well known around the globe for its high population of whales. The whales migrate to the area to feed on schools of fish, and they tend to be curious and friendly towards humans. Throughout the years, there were only a few reported incidents where people have ended up inside the mouth of a humpback whale. One of the most notorious whale swallowing incidents occurred in 2021 off Cape Cod, Massachusetts, where a lobster diver ended up struggling for his life inside of a whale's mouth. The lobster fishing industry is a multi-million-dollar business, with an average of 37,000 tons of lobster fished every year. But it is also one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. Commercial lobster divers are a tough breed. They brave the cold waters off Provincetown to grab migrating lobsters off a sandy shelf when they emerge from an adjacent deep channel. It's a spot that is fraught with danger. The crewman topside keeps track of the diver below by following his bubbles as he is pushed by those strong currents. The hours are long, the work is hard, and the weather dictates the comfort and danger levels. Lobster fishermen often become entangled in loose lines, and sometimes are pulled overboard by the traps, and drown when they cannot free themselves. Other dangers include sharks and other sea life that swim with the fishermen in the depths of the ocean. Michael Parkard is a veteran lobster diver that has fished recreationally since 1990. Parkard splits his time between Cape Cod and Costa Rica, diving for lobster off the coast of Massachusetts in the summer and running his sport fishing business out of Puerto Jimenez in the winter. This man has cheated death more than once. In 2001, Parkard was on a Sansa airline flight headed to Puerto Jimenez from California when his plane crashed, killing the pilot, co-pilot, and one of the passengers. Parkard was one of 5 survivors who spent 2 nights in a jungle on the coast of Costa Rica. They used the plane's radio to call for help and were able to emit an emergency beacon from the plane, though it still took rescuers over a day to get to them because the location was remote and hard to reach. Parkard sustained multiple injuries to his abdomen and upper body, and one of the doctors said they would not have survived another night in the jungle. Parkard recovered from the plane crash, and then 20 years later he was recovering from another brush with death. On June 11, 2021, Michael was getting ready for a routine lobster dive off the coast of Cape Cod. At this point, he has been a commercial lobster diver for the past 40 years. He met his crew at the harbor where they boarded the boat and navigated it 20 minutes out to their usual lobster hunting spot. He then put on his scuba gear along with his breathing apparatus and dove overboard. His crewmate Josiah stayed on the boat and kept track of Parkard's location by following his bubbles. He then descended 45 feet down into the water while roaming around to make sure the area he will be hunting in is safe from sharks. Parkard dove even deeper and started collecting lobsters from muddy, sandy, and rocky bottoms of the ocean. All of a sudden, he felt like he was hit by a freight train and everything went black. At first, he said he thought he had been attacked by a shark, but when he realized he did not feel any sharp teeth and was not in pain, he began to figure out what had happened. It then dawned on him that he was in a whale's mouth and that it was trying to swallow him. Josiah at the top noticed that the bubbles grew larger and erratic, but they were too deep for him to see anything. Parkard then thought that this was the end, and he began thinking about his family and how we will never see them again. But then, in a rapid burst, both Parkard and the whale broke through to the surface as the whale spat him out of its mouth. Parkard came out of the water feet first with his flippers on and landed back into the water. After escaping the clutches of the whale, Parkard was grabbed out of the water by a crewmate and then rushed ashore to be taken to hospital in the area. At first, Parkard thought he had broken his legs in the incident, but he just had soft tissue damage and bruises, and he was released from a local hospital later that day. The humpback likely hoped it would get a mouthful of sand lance fish, which live in the waters off Cape Cod, and accidentally gulped Parkard instead. Experts say it is extremely rare to be swallowed by a humpback whale, estimating there is a 1 in 1 trillion chance someone would be eaten by a whale. When a humpback feeds, they do what is called gulp feeding, and they open their mouths up incredibly widely, which could limit their forward vision. Based on what was described, experts believe that this was a mistake and an accident by the humpback whale. Parkard was unlucky enough to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Whales are generally placid around humans and show little aggression towards them, but they have warned divers to stay at least 100 feet away from the powerful animals at all times, because even an accidental brush with one can be very dangerous. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to leave a like if you liked it, and consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this.